back to another video.
This is our finals.
Round 4, yep, of the March monthly Paladin format.
So, again, one more time.
Library, Mind Twist, Bands, and all the...
Maze of Ith, Hemp Torak, Mishra's Factory, Mishra's Workshop, and Strip Mine restricted.
Restricted to one card, yes.
And Mana Burn, we found out, is a thing in the format, which, again, I appreciate. I think Mana Burn can still exist in Modern Magic. Okay, so this is the same deck we just saw in the last video.
Dom's
Goblins, splashing the power cards, which I stated in the last video I am not a fan of. Now, it did prove to help him in the last game because of the forks. Gonna put that out there real quickly.
Yeah, which is not visibly...
it's like, if you look at the bottom row, it's Time Twister, Time Walk, Wheel of Fortune, Ancestral, and then there's 2 forks. So those forks made Time Walks worthy. Without the forks, I'm still very adamant that the blue cards don't belong in this deck, but the forks do have changed my opinion slightly, so that's interesting.
For me, it's a bit the Bloodlust. That's a bit of a toss-up for me.
Yeah.
I think there's better cards to be put into this deck, but I mean...
But here's what's interesting, because despite all of these pointers, our matchup today is this Goblin deck, very aggressive, versus a slow control deck. So cards like Bloodlust, which I mentioned in the last video, which again you just said you're not really fond of too much, that require another card in play, become more valuable in a matchup where your opponent really can't afford to have a 4-point life swing. Like, if you can get that card to resolve on your creature against a control player, it's even more detrimental than in other matchups. So like Karl probably going into the matchup sweating, if I could just presume. So any criticisms we have about the cards in Dom's deck probably go away in this matchup.
I mean, just with Goblin Grenade dealing 5 damage, and like Karl's gonna have to really have like a pretty good lock and control of the match early on, because if he doesn't, it's gonna be like bad news for him.
And what's actually also interesting about the cards, again, whether you agree or disagree is not relevant right now, but the Time Walk Ancestral Time Twister package, those are cards that Karl's gonna want to mill. So like they actually gain even more value now, because if Karl mills those things, you're just drawing your opponent into more burning spells, right? So like it's kind of funny how that works here. And this is Karl's mill deck we saw in the first match of this monthly.
And we've
seen before.
We've seen this before. I mean, it has the whole deal, control aspect, counterspell, disenchant, swords, modes.
Like if you want to play the deck, but don't want to play the deck because you're either afraid of the opinions of others, or you just don't want to play the deck but you still love the concept, this is probably your best alternative. Swap out 8 cards, put in the Millstone and Field of Dreams package, and like you're playing your control deck, but you're playing a slightly different
will still
version.
Hate you though for the mill.
Mill has its own stigma attached to it. I've heard some pretty aggressive opinions about mill as a concept. So
I don't know how the one thing I really have an issue with this deck is the one Ivory Tower.
Oh, there's a second one in the sideboard.
No, I know, but in the main.
So
I agree. I think it should be a sideboard piece. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, the only thing I can think, like, I don't have any strong opinions one way or the other, but just trying to justify, like, let's get inside Karl's head, is probably, like, if you consider that first match, like we saw in most of the games, Karl had a full grip. Like, he was just sitting back in as much control as he can be in, full grip, and, like, the opponent couldn't do anything. And if that Ivory Tower is in play, it's creating such an even wider gap for your opponent to try to close.
I would probably put in a Divine Offering over the Ivory Tower, because then you could either Divine Offering your own book or use it as removal.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: is like if Karl, let's say like in this matchup, if things go well for Karl and he gets an early moat, and there's no Balloon Brigade, and Max is not really attacking for 1, 2, 3 turns, Karl can just sit back and do absolutely nothing and accrue a hand size card advantage, and then that Ivory Tower is basically going to shut down all of Dom's dreams.
Yeah, so you agree with that, having it?
I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can see the justification.
Yeah, okay.
And then the second one on the side, now, anybody who has access to a mouse can check the time limit of the video. It's a short one. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm assuming one thing over the other, so I don't know if the Ivory Towers ended up working out in Karl's favor, but definitely he's in the notion that like he should be terrified and sweating against a deck like Dom's. The Ivory Tower is the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, you're already in the mindset of I'm going to get wrecked by aggro, so I need to hedge my bets however I can. So I'll put cards like Ivory Tower. So we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe Karl wows us with a super fast milling victory.
Yeah.
Maybe he demoralizes Dom, and that's just how it ends.
Okay, so Dom playing City.
Yeah, Karl land going. It looks like a
Yeah,
decent hand for a creature deck.
Oh, drawing the Ancestral right off the bat. So taking one.
I still think the correct play is to play a creature, though.
Okay.
Didn't he show us a 1-drop? That's what I mean. Like he's an. Okay. These kinds of things hurt me a little bit because like, if like Dom can still win the game, it's no problem. It's just turn 1. But like, you're an aggro burn deck. Your first turn is not to draw 3 cards. Your first turn is to put damage on the board. Like that's what you do with that. You know what I mean? But like, so like I say that, and then if Dom still wins, it's like, well, what do you know? But like at the same time, it's like, why are you playing an aggro burn deck if you're going to prioritize everything other than aggro burn? Like it doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense.
Because he's scared that he doesn't want it to get countered, so he wants to make sure he's able to cast that Ancestral.
But what makes Ancestral, if you want to even have the argument that Ancestral belongs in these decks, what makes it good is that once you've exercised your burn and your aggro and you've like scared the opponent and you've got nothing left, you use it to refuel. There's like no point in putting 5 more burn cards in your hand when you can only play the 2 burn cards anyways. Play your burn cards and then use your Ancestral at instant speed to refuel. Yeah. Again, like eat shit me if Dom ends up winning anyways, but like these are all just concepts, right? These are principles and concepts that are in general, I think, correct, but there's exceptions everywhere, right? So
yeah, and I'm sure there's like people that disagree with that mindset as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Karl and Khalil argue with me all the time about whether or not they should be putting the power cards. Like this is an ongoing debate, that's for sure. For sure. And like when to use them, how to use them. Absolutely. But that's also what makes the game so diverse and interesting, is that I could be so sure about this, but game states will dictate that you have to do something different here and there. So it's always changing. There's always new ways of doing things.
Okay, so Dom tapping 2.
Yeah. Also, just one last thing on that. I think it's actually important a little bit to hear opinions and then see different things happening on screens, because it does open up multiple outlets of seeing the deck, right?
Yeah.
If we
see, like, for example, just to pause you for a second, like the way he played those cards, he tapped 2 lands, then played 2 different creatures. I think he should have tapped 1, played the creature.
Tap 1.
Do you have a response? No. Tap 1.
Yeah.
Because that's indicating now that like you have 2 creatures in play. So you play both.
Now I can just balance the balance. Look what happened. Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So like, because if he would have played them one at a time, like you said, Karl might have actually countered one. But because Dom showed him that I've got 2 creatures, Karl can actually just go, oh, this counterspell, this plow, I'm not going to use them because you showed me you have 2 creatures. So resolve, and here's a balance. How convenient, I have a balance. Yeah. So yeah, big, like, again, like, you could, he did it again. He just did it again.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. The only thing is that Karl right now is really having to use his resources to kind of like deal with all these threats.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too, right? Is like at the end of the day, Dom's got so many creatures and burn spells that Karl might not be able to keep up anyways. But like, imagine the advantage he would have been in had he forced a counterspell or a plow out of Karl instead of just letting him hold his hand and balance.
Yeah.
That book is way too slow for this matchup. Oh, but he does have a Amazabith. He has Amazabith, a plow, and a Chaos Orb. So like, I'm sure Karl's feeling okay. Well, okay, here it's okay because he's tapped out.
There. I mean, at that point, sure.
But still, it's hilarious. It's like 3 turns in a row, right? Just But again, this is another instance in the series of us saying a thing that the player shouldn't do, that they do anyways, and potentially end up winning. So
it's like, what do we know?
Yeah. But that's what I mean.
Wow, who are these guys?
Don't look at it like right or wrong. Look at it like multiple avenues of how games can go.
Yeah, there's different forks in the road. I could choose this path, this path, this path. We're only voicing our opinions of what we think is the right path, or, you know.
And also, there's a big difference between watching the game overhead and being in the game.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
also under the camera with the lights and knowing you're going to be judged after.
Yeah, exactly. So Well, being judged.
No, no, I'm judging.
Yeah, that's the Italian side, right?
It's the hair. It's the chest hair, I swear. Yeah, Karl having to pass with 3 characters in play and that side blast is rough. Very, very rough.
All he needs is like a Goblin grenade, pretty much.
Yeah. It takes 1. But yeah, he's just at a point now where his life level is so low that almost anything from Dom's side kills. Is that another side blast? It's going slow though, so maybe not. Yeah, I was gonna say based on the speed at which he was tapping, it was Time Twister for sure, Because yeah,
So I mean, now
it's like any Karl off the top. Well, no, Karl's at 4 technically, so 2 bolts, but 1 bolt won't do it. But still, 7 cards is real good.
yeah.
Real good for the
Looks
burn
like
deck.
your blue theory is
Well, okay, but
yeah.
Time Twister is the closest one that I'm willing to accept. Out of all the 3, Time Twister is the one that I'm most willing to accept because it's like Wheel of Fortune. Because like 7 cards is not 3, and even like Ancestral Recall. Yeah, I'm not trying to talk shit about Ancestral Recall, but drawing 3 cards isn't enough in this kind of burn deck. Drawing 7 is a massive deal.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
In the order of which I would play them, I would play Time Twister, Time Walk, and then Ancestral. Yeah.
Goblin grenade.
No, Goblin Grenade is a really strong card, and I think Goblin Grenade gets even stronger the sooner you play it. It's not worth trying to get extra chip damage. Just fucking put the 5 damage to somebody's
If I could like turn 1 swing at the creature, or I mean turn 1 play the creature, turn 2 swing and then deal 5 damage.
Yeah.
I'm like
6 damage.
6 damage
for 2 mana.
For 2 mana, that's like 2 bolts.
Yeah. Well, I was raving before about how good 4 damage is for 2 mana.
Yeah. So maybe you should
Yeah. Karl's just gonna bring in
maybe you should do a buyout of Iron Claw Orcs, you know.
Yeah. They do come in Korean.
Yeah. I don't get the Korean thing. I get like, you know, collector.
Well, it's scarcity, rarity, and calligraphy. Those are like that's if you don't get it, it's those 3 things: scarcity and rarity, which play into each other, and then calligraphy. People just love the aesthetic.
I do admit though it is beautiful, like the text.
Yeah. Fourth
Versus
edition.
like the Chinese or Japanese there. And Korean has the nicest of all.
I agree.
Yeah, obviously, of course.
So Karl's
Right.
sideboard is probably going to be Control Magic, 2 Blue Blast, the Ivory Tower, and the Circles.
Yeah, I would think so.
The Control Magic is questionable.
No, I probably see the Cop Reds.
Copper Reds for sure.
Cop Reds,
Maybe Divine Offering
Wrath.
for his own stuff. But that's too much, though, I think. I think Divine Offering is not for this matchup. It's for the Shots matchup. So probably not. Blue Blast, Ivory Tower, and Cop Red. See, like, bringing in Sarah, I think, would be heavily... Oh, I keep on the Sarah in. Sarah Angel... Please, correct me if I'm wrong, but Sarah Angel seems extremely bad in this matchup.
Yeah.
Like, it's 5 mana. By then, you're dead. Like, I'm sorry.
I get the mode. He kept it in, you know.
But that's what I'm saying. No, even then, no, because, like... Unless he accelerates those cards out, in 4 turns, he's down to 10 life. Maybe even less. Then it's all the burn spells after. So what good is your Sarah and Moat when I'm just burning your face after? Like, you tapped out from Moat, and I just side blasted and bolted you? I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all.
Oh, fine. I'll just sit here and keep my mouth shut.
Well, you know, it's possible true, actually. I'm going to pretend like this is what you're thinking. The Sarah Angels could be a win condition. If he takes out the entire mill package, he brings in the Sarah Angels to be a full control deck with Sarah Angel as killer.
Yeah.
So if Sarah Angel's not there to defend, it's there to kill.
But especially because then if he gets the Cop Reds, all your burn spells are shit.
Except for the Side Blast.
Yeah. But I mean, it is what it is.
Okay. 3 damage is good. So let's see how much life will Karl be at by turn 5, or by 5 mana, or even 4 for the moat. But even the moat is a little bit weak because of the brigade, right?
Yeah.
Like if he gets 2 brigades in play, You tap out from mode, and I've got Brigade.
Yeah, I forgot about Brigade, so with the flying and all, so kind of...
Yeah, so there's the moat. He had the Mox, so it came out a turn early, but it cost him a life. So Factory can't attack anymore, but it's okay, because it can produce the mana he needs for his Side Blasts. Orb.
I wonder if it'll Chaos Orb for Chaos Orb.
I think you orb the orb.
Yeah. I don't agree with that. But, I mean, what do I know?
I think you orb the orb, unless his hand is chock full of creatures. Stock full of creatures? Chock full of creatures? What's the
I don't
expression?
know.
Unless he's got a bunch of creatures in his hand.
I don't know. Okay. Seems like a legitimate flip.
Gives me anxiety, that flip, though.
Orb Smash! No. That's why I do the gentleman's
Yeah.
flip.
I would
But
like to... oh, well, yeah, I guess. But I would like to hear from Karl, if he watches this one, about what he was hoping Dom orbed. Like, if he was hoping that Dom would orb the moat.
Okay, he's got the Lotus.
So, Karl, if you're watching, I expect the message.
At this point, Karl, do you orb the Lotus?
So now here's the Sarah, because he had the Mox. So Karl's at 12. So he it wasn't quite 10, but he's at 12. Another moat? Why not the Sarah? Like, the moat doesn't give... The Goblin doesn't give a shit about that.
No, I know.
Like, this was a chance for Karl to, you know, say, like, we don't care what your comments are. Here's my Sarah Angel, and it would have been good here. Like, it would have actually been good here.
Nee, because he's scared of Goblin Grenade.
If my opponent Goblin Grenades my Sarah instead of my face, I think I'm happy. Not sure about that, but like, I would feel bad playing Goblin Grenade and having to use it on a creature instead of the face. I think Sarah Angel last turn served the same purpose as Moat, but got him 4 damage this turn, as opposed to having to wait 1 more turn. Is it game changing? Maybe not. Bolt your face. But it's interesting because we're kind of seeing, right, like, yeah, Moat and Sarah are so strong right now, but he's at 8. That's Side Blast 4. Side Blast, Side Blast.
Yeah.
Side
Blast. Grenade.
Fireball.
And he's only got one.
I think he has Grenade in his hand. So Grenade, whoop. Good night. He got Fork too, I think. But I think he needs to have 2 Goblins in play for that. Okay. And we have Red Blast to protect. Yep. Hurts to tap a City of Brass and just get and kill. Okay. Yep.
And, wow. Quick match. Goblin just, absolute speed.
Yeah,
Karl was not able to establish any kind of board state.
But you see what I'm saying? Is like, I don't know how important Moat and Sarah Angel were. They just looked like reasons to tap out.
Yeah.
Tap out and get punished. I don't think I'm ever bringing Sarah Angel in this matchup. Maybe one to kill in the, later on. Just be pure control. I don't know. It's rough. It's hard to say. Because, if you don't bring in the Sarahs, you don't really have any way of killing, and the mill is probably way too... the mill is probably slower than Sarah Angel, right? At least Sarah can block. At least it can beat down. Mill is just not doing anything. It's so slow. I don't know. The sideboarding is definitely tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
For Karl.
Yeah.
Dom just has to do his thing.
I mean, the Blue Blast, for sure. The Cop Reds. Maybe even the Wrath of God.
Yeah. What we saw last game, it was 2 creatures, 3 creatures.
Yeah, so I mean, Wrath of God I kind of am okay with. Maybe to take the Moat out with the Wrath of God, because it kills all creatures.
Yes.
So I think that would have probably been a better thing to see, but at the end of the day, congratulations to Dom for winning the monthly.
I mean, he wins the monthly with the cards in the deck that I don't agree with, but that doesn't matter, because, again, there are multiple ways of winning with multiple different cards, multiple different sequences
Yeah.
and lines of play, and Fork has been really good. And that was just funny because we were saying how bad Fork looked in the Derek matchup, but that's what I mean though, right? Like something bad yesterday is really good today, vice versa. This all just changes around, so definitely try things everywhere, no matter how strong someone's opinion is towards one thing or another. Try.
Yep.
You never know.
Just keep on trying.
Yep.
All right.
All right,
Until
friends.
next one.